Springtime can largely impact those suffering from allergy and asthma. And here with tips for getting through this rough season is Dr. Jamie Rutland. Dr. Jamie Rutland, how are you this morning?
I'm great. How are you this morning, Blake?
I'm good. I'm good. So tell me, with these varying diseases and the way that the springtime can really impact it, how many Americans are annually being affected by this?
When you look at allergies and asthma, 50 million people suffer from allergies and about 25 to 30 million people suffer from asthma. But I think the key here is really what's the difference between the two, right? So with allergies, you've got an overstimulation of the inflammatory response in your nasal cavity, your sinus cavity, your eyes. And these patients are going to feel really, really congested. They're going to have itchy, watery eyes. And with asthma, asthma is a specific allergy. It's allergic inflammation of the pipes carrying air to the lung, right? As you take a deep breath, you snatch your environment. That air travels through the upper airway, then into the lower airway, which is surrounded by muscle. And when those cells that line the lower airway are stimulated, those cells release molecules that aggravate that muscle contracts, you wheeze, you cough, you're short of breath.
So it's interesting because I actually have both asthma and allergies, have for 20 something years now. And so I kind of
Yeah.
have a good understanding of how a lot of this works. But for people that don't out there, some of our viewers, why don't you tell me about maybe like some common triggers that can happen for those that are affected by this?
Yeah, even though we can't see it, our environment is full of microscopic material that we inhale on a daily basis. And so you snatch your environment with every single breath that you take. And when you do that, the molecules that are suspended in the air have the opportunity to interact with that layer of cells, your epithelial cells, that line your upper airway, your eyes, and your lower airway. And if you have that genetic predisposition to do so, those molecules can activate that inflammatory response. Those epithelial cells get scared, they get spooked, they release molecules we call alarmins that then end up recruiting over white blood cells into the area. And as those white blood cells, the cells that are designed to protect you, as they accumulate into that area in your sinuses and in your lung, they stimulate the organs that surround them, and that causes your symptoms. That is what allergy actually is. It's your immune system's response to the environment.
It's so fascinating. And something that I'm always thinking about is like, what are tips or easy things that I can do to kind of make my life a little bit easier, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that feel the same. So, what are things we can do to kind of protect ourselves against allergies and asthma, especially around this time of year?
It's a great question. I think, again, no one really wants to be out of the environment, but sometimes that's best, especially when the pollen counts are high. So I always tell people, hey, listen, if the pollen count's high and you can do it, stay indoors. If you're gonna be outdoors, as soon as you come back inside, take a shower, wash your hair, get rid of that antigen that's all over your body, all over your clothes, change your clothes, use an air purifier inside your home because the air purifier is going to take all those antigens that are suspended in the air and just filter them and make sure that the air that you're breathing in is very, very clean. And then the other thing you can do is definitely take your prescribed medications, as I'm sure you do, Blake, right? Take your inhaler, take your intranasal steroid, take your antihistamines to calm down that inflammatory response so that you can feel as good as you possibly can.
Well, and if I know anything to be true, it's that prescription prices are continually going up. So, any advice you have on maybe some savings we can get for some of those necessary prescriptions that we need?
Yeah, I got a lot of advice. I mean, the first thing in my office, we use BuzzRx, which is a free prescription discount card and app service that allows you to instantly find the lowest price for your medication. Here's how it works. In my office, we'll go to BuzzRx, the app on either iOS or Android, or we go to buzzrx.com. We'll type that medication in the search bar. Once we type that medication there, it instantly tells us where these patients can get the medication and save up to 80% off of that medication price. Anybody can do it. Once I see where that medication is going to be sent, I have my staff electronically send that prescription to that pharmacy. My patient takes their discount card, they pick it up, they save up to 80%. They're feeling good because they're taking their medicine. They're feeling good because they spent less money. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to make sure that patients feel as well as they possibly can.
Yeah, and I think that 80% number, when I hear that personally, just because of my experience and knowing kind of how that works, I feel like that's staggering, right? Like, I don't think people realize maybe how expensive some inhalers can be pre-insurance. And so that is a crazy number to use BuzzRx. So, Doctor, if people are interested in using BuzzRx, how do they get more information on all of that?
You can go to buzzrx.com or you can download the app on iOS or Android. Just go to BuzzRx, download that app, There's loads of information there. You might even see my picture with some information too, but we're happy to help you there, and you can ask us questions and we'll be there for you.
Perfect. Dr. Jamie Rutland, thank you so much for your time this morning and all the tips on getting us through the spring season. Get on BuzzRx and see what savings you can find.